But the day after the fight, right after the day after, I woke up and told my wife, "Why did I do that?" I don't know. I just don't know what the hell goes on.
Is it true that you made $170 million from this fight?
I made a lot of money, the most money I've made ever.
I gave him a chance, and that's all one needs is just a chance.
Mike Tyson and Anthony Joshua have just sent shockwaves through the boxing world on an unbelievable scale. And we're not talking about a small controversy here. This is a seismic disruption. What's unfolding right now is completely unstoppable, gaining speed like a runaway freight train with no brakes. Their explosive statements involving Jake Paul and a massive $5 million bribery scandal are sending shockwaves through fans and fighters everywhere. And honestly, no one expected this to hit with such overwhelming force. The truth coming to light is far darker than anyone ever imagined. Much darker. And it's permanently changing how the sport will be viewed. This isn't just about entertainment anymore. It's about the very credibility of boxing as a real competition. This is not simple drama. This is a full-scale transformation of boxing's reputation happening right before our eyes.
Pulled out Anthony Joshua just makes the whole sport look ridiculous. Gets them more attention.
Despite everything that had already changed in the boxing world, a short gym clip of Mike Tyson suddenly leaked online. And let me tell you, the words he spoke hit harder than any punch he ever delivered inside the ring. This sport used to mean something. Now it's being bought. Those words weren't said for attention. This wasn't a calculated PR move. They came straight from a place of raw, unfiltered disgust. You could hear it in his voice and feel it in the way he said it. Anyone who truly listened knew instantly that something serious was unfolding. This wasn't just another retired fighter talking about the good old days. This was Iron Mike Tyson, a legend who has witnessed every side of boxing, openly saying the system is broken. And that statement carries weight. Massive weight.
I don't remember the fight that much. I kind of blanked out a little.
Did you watch it back or anything, or no?
I will watch the fight. No, I have not. Coming back from the first round, and then the next day I remember Jake is doing some kind of, I don't know what.
The reaction was immediate, spreading like wildfire through dry grass. Fans began asking the one question nobody wanted to say out loud. The kind of question that makes your stomach sink when you really think about it. What if the fights people paid for, the matches they stayed up late to watch, the events they spent hundreds of dollars on, were never as real as they believed? What if behind the gloves and the cameras, behind all the hype and the press conferences, deals were being made, money trails were being hidden, and outcomes were being shaped long before the bell ever rang? That possibility alone shook the sport to its core. Because once you start questioning what's real, everything becomes suspect. Every knockout, every decision, every underdog story, all of it ends up under the microscope.
The game with no experience. He's taken on some good names. They may be old. They may be from different combats in terms of MMA and so on. But he's got in the ring at a decent level. Fought Tommy Fury.
Less than 24 hours later, and this is where everything truly escalated. The shock didn't just return, it doubled. Maybe even tripled. Anthony Joshua spoke out during a training session, and what he said matched Mike Tyson's tone almost perfectly, which is shocking considering these are two completely different fighters from entirely different eras. People are being paid to play roles. That single sentence, those 7 words, rippled through the boxing world like an electric current, stunning everyone it reached. Two giants of the sport, absolute legends who built their careers on totally different paths, were now pointing to the same problem. That isn't a coincidence. That's confirmation. Why did you just call me again? I didn't call you anything. Why did you call me, Mike? The tension in that exchange shows just how serious the situation has become. These aren't men who speak carelessly. And when both of them say something is wrong, you can be sure something is seriously wrong.
Listen, I wouldn't have realized any of it if it went 3-minute rounds. I didn't realize it.
Tyson is not just another retired fighter who shows up for celebrity appearances and signs autographs. He is the raw product of brutal gyms, broken bones, street fights, and an era when boxing was about pure survival, not branding deals and Instagram followers. This is a man who came up in a time when you fought because you had to, where losing meant everything, and where respect was earned in blood, not bought through marketing campaigns. Anthony Joshua, on the other hand, built his career with military discipline, major sponsors backing him from early on, and a clean, professional public image that brands love. He represents the modern success story, the fighter who did everything right in the new boxing economy. So when someone that careful, someone with that much to lose, finally breaks the silence and puts his reputation on the line, it means the situation is already spiraling out of control. Joshua didn't accuse anyone by name. He didn't point fingers or call out specific fighters. He didn't need to. The message was crystal clear to everyone listening. The system had fundamentally changed. What was once about who could truly fight, who had the skill, the heart, the technique, had become about who could sell, who could generate buzz, who could make the numbers work for promoters. And that shift, that transformation from sport to spectacle, is exactly where the modern boxing engine comes into play.
I'm really not trying to like be tough or something. It didn't feel.
You trying to
that
be
at
a tough guy or something?
I didn't even feel a single thing.
How?
Not even like, oh my God, that hurt. Like my.
Jake Paul's rise has been fast, meteoric really, and deeply confusing for many traditional boxing fans who still can't understand how it happened. A YouTuber turning into a main event attraction in just a few years doesn't make sense to people who grew up watching boxers grind for decades to earn their place. Yet his fights pull in millions of views online, sell out arenas once reserved for championship bouts, and generate massive pay-per-view numbers that rival established champions. According to public reports and industry analysis, some of his events reportedly crossed 800,000 buys, which is absolutely insane. That's more than many legitimate world title fights featuring champions who've dedicated their entire lives to the sport. Think about that for a moment. A former YouTuber outdrawing professional world champions. That alone tells you everything about where boxing stands right now.
She would have, like put up a better fight so then I could have like risen more and done more. And like he was surviving.
He was.
So
annoying.
that was the only thing I didn't like.
So annoying when they don't.
But here's the question that keeps coming back. The one people can't stop asking. How? How did this happen so fast? Promoters have quietly, behind closed doors and off the record, described the modern scene as a social media fight factory. In this new world, clicks matter more than skill. The story, the narrative, the drama matter more than the scorecards or actual boxing ability. The villain and the hero are chosen early in the promotion process, carefully selected based on what will generate the most engagement, and everything else is about keeping the audience hooked, dragging them from press conference to press conference until fight night arrives. In this system, cooperation beats competition. Fighters are no longer just athletes testing themselves against the best. They become characters in a storyline, playing roles written for them in advance. The viral moment, the clip shared millions of times, matters more than the clean technical win boxing purists respect. Boxing culture didn't vanish overnight in some dramatic collapse. It was slowly, methodically replaced by viral culture, social media metrics, and algorithm-driven decision-making.
All about on the night. The levels that I carried last year and the year before and the year after that will not win me this fight. What will win me this fight is performing on the night. And I have to respect my...
Then come the most disturbing claims. The allegations that even make skeptics stop and question whether there's something real behind all this. Insiders, people working directly inside the industry who've seen the contracts firsthand, describe what they call appearance incentives. And this part is critical. These aren't bonuses for winning or rewards for performance. It's money simply for showing up and playing a specific role in the production. Contracts that prioritize the story being told, not the outcome inside the ring. Paperwork focused on headlines and social media engagement rather than scorecards or technical performance. There's also serious talk of silence clauses built into these deals, along with pressure, real career-threatening pressure, to sign non-disclosure agreements. Fighters are allegedly told very clearly to stay quiet about what they see behind the scenes, what happens during negotiations, and what they're asked to do. If they speak up, if they break that silence, doors close instantly. Opportunities disappear overnight. Careers stall and never recover. So many choose silence over survival, swallowing what they know because speaking out means losing everything they've worked for.
I want to fight Anthony Joshua, exclusive, because I know that I will beat Anthony Joshua.
The key point here, and this is absolutely critical to understand, is this. The claims aren't about outright fixing fight results like some organized crime scheme. They point to something far more subtle, and potentially far more dangerous. Controlling the narrative. Controlling how a fight is sold to the public, how an opponent behaves during promotion, how the story unfolds week by week, who gets positioned as the hero fans rally behind, and who's cast as the villain people pay to see lose. It's about manufacturing drama, engineering conflict, and carefully choreographing everything except the punches themselves. And that's exactly why the next move by Mike Tyson and Anthony Joshua sent shockwaves through the industry, shook it to its core, and made some very powerful people extremely nervous.
I love you over
I could
there.
go pick up like a big bag of rupees. Just
They met privately at a Vegas gym, far from the spotlight and away from the cameras. No managers, no press, no handlers controlling the conversation. Just two men who built their careers the hard way, who understand what real boxing looks like, sitting down to talk about what they'd been witnessing. According to people close to the situation, those who were either present or heard directly from those who were, the conversation was intense and brutally honest. They talked about integrity, manipulation, and what the sport was turning into, questioning whether it was even recognizable as boxing anymore. When they walked out of that gym, something fundamental had shifted. A decision had been made. Anthony Joshua was blunt and direct. "I'm done pretending this is normal." Mike Tyson followed with words that cut even deeper and carried the full weight of his legacy. "Fans deserve to know when something's real." Those two lines, those simple statements, told the entire story. This wasn't about money, jealousy, or older fighters resenting a new generation. This was about conscience, about no longer being able to stay silent while something they loved was being torn apart.
He got hit with a bomb.
The timing couldn't have been worse for Jake Paul's camp. Truly catastrophic. Normally, and anyone who follows boxing knows this, he responds instantly to any controversy, any challenge, any hint of drama. He lives on social media and thrives on attention. This time, though, there was nothing. No tweets. No Instagram stories. No interviews. No live streams. No response videos. No press statements. Just silence. Complete radio silence. And in boxing, a world where image is everything and controlling the narrative matters more than almost anything else, silence is never accidental. Silence is strategic, calculated, or it's panic. Meanwhile, quietly and without making a spectacle of it, fighters across divisions, across weight classes, from different camps and promotional companies began showing support. Likes on posts, shared quotes, subtle comments that said just enough without saying too much. No one was spelling everything out. No one was going on record with direct accusations. But everyone understood exactly what was happening. The code was being spoken, and the message was clear.
Casual, relaxed fight where you can kind of move around and get your groove, and he's going to stay on the outside and you're going to... No, it's just constant. He survived that guy twice. He survived, in my opinion, the most skillful heavyweight of all time. Twice. And you're going to go boxing? And
the sport now stands at a real crossroads, a fork in the road where the choice made will shape what boxing becomes for the next generation. Old boxing versus the new machine. Integrity versus influence. Skill versus storyline. Respect versus reach. Tradition versus modern metrics. Mike Tyson and Anthony Joshua didn't ask to lead this fight. They didn't wake up wanting to be revolutionaries or spokesmen for a movement. That role was forced on them by a system they no longer recognize, a boxing world that looks nothing like the one they entered. And if even part of these claims turns out to be true, if even a fraction of what's being alleged can be documented and verified, the fallout will be enormous and far-reaching. Fan trust collapses instantly, and once the trust is gone, getting it back is nearly impossible. Sponsors begin rethinking deals, re-evaluating associations, and demanding transparency they never cared about before. Fighters start questioning their own careers, wondering whether what they achieved was real or manufactured. Regulators, silent for years, suddenly return with pressure and demands for oversight. The manufactured fight economy, this system built on storylines and social media metrics, cannot survive real scrutiny, real investigation, real journalism. This is no longer just about Jake Paul, even though he's become the symbol. It's about whether boxing remains a legitimate sport or turns into pure entertainment, scripted and produced like any other television show. The storm has already begun. It's already here. And once legends stop protecting the system, once the old guard decides they're done playing along, nothing stays hidden for long. The truth always finds a way out.
dangerous. He's going to be terrifying, and he's going to have a lot to prove. He's going to be very angry that Jake Paul wants to fight him. very upset that this YouTuber who's fought Tommy Fury, who's a legit boxer, and
What made the situation even more unsettling was what happened next. Or more accurately, what didn't happen. Jake Paul is usually the fastest to respond to controversy. He thrives on drama and lives on social media. But this time, there was nothing. No tweets, no videos, no interviews, no statements, just silence. And not the normal kind. This was the kind of silence that makes people uncomfortable. When someone who built his entire brand on being loud suddenly stops speaking, the absence becomes deafening. The boxing world noticed immediately. Commentators paused, fans refreshed his accounts, even rival fighters waited for a response, but none came. Inside the sport, that silence was interpreted one way only: damage control. When nothing you can say makes things better, you say nothing. And that alone told people how serious these claims really were.
Oh no, I don't remember the fight that much. I kind of blanked out a little. Listen, know what I remember? Coming back from the first round, and then the next day I remember Jake is doing some kind of...
While Jake Paul's camp went completely dark, refusing interviews and staying off social media, something else began happening, quietly online, across different platforms. Fighters from different weight classes, promotional companies, and even different countries started showing support for Mike Tyson and Anthony Joshua. Not loudly. No big statements or press conferences. Just subtle signals, likes on posts they normally wouldn't touch, reposted quotes with no commentary, short remarks like real, facts, or about time. It was boxing's version of a silent nod across the room, an acknowledgement between people who understand the code. No one needed it spelled out. And that's when the real battle became visible. The sport had officially split into two worlds, two completely different ecosystems existing side by side.
In the sense that the job we do, knockouts is like the cherry on top. I understand.
On one side stood the old blood, traditional fighters raised in real gyms. Men and women who learned the sport the hard way through years of discipline and sacrifice. Early mornings running in the dark. Broken ribs you fought through. Coaches who rarely smiled and never gave false praise. Careers built on sweat and dedication, not subscribers or follower counts. Fighters who came up through amateur systems, fought for small purses or no purse at all, and dedicated their lives to mastering the craft. On the other side stood the new machine, the influencer boxing model and viral hype engine. Contracts built around algorithms and social media metrics. Fights booked for potential views instead of rankings. Press conferences turned into comedy shows. Entertainment events where the boxing itself becomes secondary, sold like movie trailers with dramatic edits, storylines, and manufactured beef.